live on Facebook.
Yes, that we are, facebook.com. So come check us out in a bit. For now, it's just Chico and myself, but we have a special guest with us today.
We'll do one batch first, and then we'll talk to our special guest. So are we still doing some greets, or are we heading into the top 10 right away?
Yeah, let's head in the top 10.
Let's do the top 10 so that we can talk to our very special guest in the RX booth. So we are thanking Mike Ferrer for the topic, hashtag things I get away with.
Oh, things I get away with.
Okay. Let's start off with number 10, Al Macchiato. True story. When I last went home to the Philippines, hinuli ako ng traffic enforcer because I was in the wrong lane. So I said, Manong, sorry na po. Hindi ko alam, ngayon lang po kasi ako nakauwi ng Pilipinas. It didn't hurt that I was wearing really short shorts.
Things you get away with with the right wardrobe.
Maybe he
choices.
Didn't even notice what you said.
Yeah,
he forgave you on the virtue of your short shorts.
Yeah, because it was a nice color. Maybe
he liked periwinkle shorts.
Yes, with a little glimmer.
So he got distracted.
Yeah,
like, oh, I love that color on you. It went great with your tan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that's very that.
At number 9 from Sebedy, things I get away with, yung mga makamundong TMR entries na hindi nila iisiping galing sa akin. What are you talking about? We're so wholesome.
We're such a wholesome show.
What worldly topics are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talk about, I don't know, the butterflies,
rainbows,
and
sunshine, cupcakes.
And I love, like desserts. I love cream pie. No, because, like desserts, like, yeah, I love those, like donuts.
I love donuts too.
Yeah, with the cream pie donuts, those are delicious.
The ones inside, oh my gosh, we gotta take Richard over to the place where they have leche flan.
Oh my gosh! And don't you just love it when you bite into a donut and it squirts out the cream? Oh my gosh, it's so fantastic. Delicious! That is delicious. And I love it. And it kind of like you have to wipe the side of your mouth because it's so messy to eat. Oh, I love that so much. It's so delicious.
That just went off tangent.
Because we love desserts.
And now especially that I'm off my pageant diet.
Yes.
So we can eat whatever we want to.
Exactly.
And like our Taiwan trip, we ate all sorts of really, really good food. Like the one I was telling you about, the ice cream inside
the custard. That custard dessert is delicious.
The ice cream inside that
delicious
fish pastry. Oh, that was so good.
And for Mike Ferrer at number 8, things I get away with as the wallflower in the office, ang dami kong nahahagap na chismis about everybody else. Just because they would ignore me while they spill the tea. That's so true. I was pretty much a wallflower when I was a kid. So I was an observer. People say, how come you never run out of topics to talk about on radio? And I think it's really because I was such a loser when I was a kid.
Hey, same.
So nobody paid attention to me. I observed people. At a very young age, I was able to tell the different like templates of people. This is the bully. That's the quiet but lethal type. That's the queen bee. I was able to,
and you just avoid them.
No,
right? I used to avoid them.
How to act towards certain types. Oh, this one is also a loser. I can talk to this one. This one is the bully. Let me avoid this. This one is the quiet but very politically adept. So I can talk to this one. Yeah, you learn at a very early age.
How about the ones that walked up to you and said terrible things?
I said, you know what? I will get into radio and talk about you in the future. I will get my revenge then. I will bide my time and,
But it was interesting because on our way to the airport last week, we passed by a billboard of one of your bullies.
Shush. Stop. This is off-air conversation. Shush. Quiet.
So now I know.
Yes.
So if they ask me to perform for any of their things,
will you stop?
I will say no because I am pro Chico.
Stop. At number 7, moving on from the cynical optimist, things I get away with wearing and using fake stuff. Hindi kasi ako mukhang yagit, kaya akala nila class lahat ng sinusuot ko. Oh, but be careful. In some countries, if they catch you with fake stuff, you can actually get into trouble.
Yes.
Like
And-
if you own, especially the branded stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you go to France or whatever, and then they catch you with counterfeit items, you can.
I've heard,
Get into
especially I
really big
remember
trouble.
back in the day when they had DVDs,
Yeah.
the fake DVDs.
Yes.
They would actually get them out of your bags and to check to see if those
they're
were
real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially the parody DVDs.
Oh,
Don't bring
those,
them to us.
yes,
You'll get into trouble.
those are not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like instead of Saving Private Ryan, it could be like Shaving Ryan's Privates.
Yeah.
You know, those are different movies
different movies,
altogether.
and
Yeah.
that's most likely going to get you in trouble.
In much trouble. From Archer Aguilar at number 6, things I get away with, getting favors from you. Since I know you have a huge crush on me. You know, crushes are some of the pettiest tyrants because they know they have a power over you. Once they know that you have a crush on them, they will try to get away with things. They will make you
they will ask
run
you
errands. They
for-
will make you they get money from you or whatever.
Yes.
It's like, hey,
They
you
can
know,
get away with murder.
I'm thirsty. I want to some iced coffee. Would you like to buy one for me? And here you are, completely
and you're just like googly
Twitter
eyes saying,
pated.
sure,
sure. Do you
anything
want
for you.
exactly?
I'll give you my life.
Yeah, terrible.
Mm.
And from Space Witch at number 5, as someone who had a previous relationship with a barista, I used to get free add-ons in my drink, sometimes free pastry. I didn't ask for it. Well, binibigyan lang niya talaga ako.
Yeah.
That is true. Oh, that's cute though.
Hey, every
barista.
morning when we get our coffees, I actually, in that favorite coffee place of ours, they
Yeah.
would actually upgrade our drink sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's one of those things. They're kind people here in the Philippines.
Yeah. And from Maxim de Winter at number 4, things I get away with. Ever since I became important and indispensable at work, medyo matapang na ako sa demands. Yeah, if you know they can't do without you, yeah. Well, it's a tricky.
Ask for what you're worth, right?
Yeah, but it's a tricky dance. You know, you have to ask enough that they can still give it to you. Sometimes they weigh what you're asking for against what you're worth, and if they think that your worth is a little less than what you're asking for, just be careful.
Yeah.
It might call your bluff. So it's a very tricky.
But this also rings true for people who have a skill that not many people have.
Exactly. Remember that guy that I told you that we met in an airport in Bali? He is one of like I forgot something like 4 people on this planet who can be a mechanic for that kind of plane, which is rare, but it's still in use. And he gets like 1 month work and then 2 months off. And then 1 month work and then 2 months off. And he is paid a ridiculous amount of money because there are only 4 of them in the entire globe who can fix that plane.
It's fantastic. See?
Amazing, right?
Just find a skill that people need, or kvet, and you can make money for
Exactly.
years and years and years.
And from Queen of Deadma at number 3, things I get away with. Since I am a top performer sa team namin, ako lang ang nangangahas na sumagot-sagot kay boss. Yeah, the boss will let you get away with stuff
Yeah.
if you're pretty important.
Yeah.
Because if you're the prized possession of your company, yeah, I guess you
Exactly.
can get away with
Yeah,
murder.
you can always get away with that.
And from Coco Hernandez at number 2, I just smile when 20-somethings assume we are the same age, even if I was their age when they were born. So you look pretty fresh,
Listen,
like tilapia.
Chico looks very, very, very young for his age. He actually looks like he is 21 because he's 36.
36.
Right?
But people, they card me at clubs.
I know.
Look, you youthful little thing. Why are you going inside this den of sin? And you are so young and fresh. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm in my mid-30s.
Yeah. CNN has this on camera. My
Woo!
eyes are rolling in their sockets.
Like, why would you card me? Why would you card me? I am in my mid-30s and you think I'm not even 18.
Sabi ni Colleen MYC, Markki, stop! Why are you enabling him?
What? I mean, you know what?
Your baby, utang na loob, integridad, people. Integrity.
You know what? You take charge of your own narrative. And if you bludgeon them enough, they will follow.
Mm.
They will agree
Accurate
to your narrative.
Look at me.
Right.
I have been adhering to this age.
Yeah.
I started the show younger than Chico. I am now
Same age.
older than
Ew.
Chico.
Ew. Oof.
And yet
I
am
don't
the
know.
one-
You know what? I don't know if I am willing to work with somebody like you who's older.
Yeah.
I value my.
You got to find them Gen Zs.
I know. Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
Why not? Why not?
Hey, listen. You do you. And I'm just gonna be here,
Yeah. You're just living
nodding
in
my
my
head.
world.
and I'm gonna be here keeping track of the year you were born.
Thank you.
Because as the years progress, we actually
I have to adjust.
a grid.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of
Mhm.
review. I was born 88, right?
88.
88.
Today.
For
This year.
88.
88. 88. No, 89.
You know what? We'll get back to you on that.
Because I turned 37 last year.
Oh,
And
then
you
89.
turned 36 again last year.
Okay, so
So
I'm
this year you
89.
turned 36 again, and I'm turning 38.
Noted.
Okay.
And here we go. The top things I get away with comes from CN.
CN says,
I usually lay down my taga South ako card if I'm late sa meetups with friends. Hello, ako na nga yung nag-adjust. Ako pa rin ang early bird. Well, that is true. If you live the farthest from the meetup point, I'll give you leeway to be late.
well, especially here in the Philippines.
But it's the opposite
for our
here.
guests,
The ones who live nearest are the ones who
who
are
are always late.
because they're
mean-
thinking, "Oh, I have enough time."
I mean, look at our co-hosts. 2 blocks away.
That's true,
Right?
That's true. No, it's because you're always thinking, "I have enough time. I can, take a little nap," and then before you know it, you're late.
Happens. It
True.
happens. And that's mostly here in the Philippines. But a lot of countries, it's inexcusable to be late.
All right, so there you go. That's our top 10 for today. But we do have another batch coming right up.
Like right away.
But we're now going to introduce you our very special guest. We have in the RX booth, we have the one, the only, Richard Kwan! My gosh, like it's really surreal when you meet in person somebody you would just see on the telly, on television. And now, like especially with the advent of like everything internet on your gadgets, on your phones, on your televisions. And welcome
Thank
to
you.
the
Good
RX
morning.
booth. Good
Thank
morning.
you very much. Delighted to be here
Thank you
into
for
this mayhem of chaos and confusion. Where I'm learning things that I don't think I ever wished to knew.
Oh my goodness. All that
All that about
from the
cream
few
pies.
minutes.
Who knew?
Oh, but we love desserts.
Oh, we
Oh,
do.
I am a dessertaholic. I don't think I've met a dessert that I didn't like.
Same.
I really
See?
do.
What would your favorite dessert
No,
be?
you can't ask that. That's like choosing between your children. But if I had to choose, it would be something very basic.
Basic.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can't beat an apple crumble with custard.
Oh my gosh.
Magnificent.
That sounds so
You know, just a,
British.
it is. It is. You'd probably go for something exotic. But
I like cream puffs.
what?
Cream
Oh,
puffs.
yeah.
Eh,
I'll take your word for it.
yeah. That's
he-
very is that
you
American?
love cream puffs.
No, I did. No, like that's an American
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is. But they also have Japanese versions of it.
No, but the Americans like lots of big desserts. Chocolate mousse cake, mud cake, big cake. It's always very thick and stodgy. I
Ah.
like a sort of a good, rich. Yeah, love dessert.
Oh,
Do you
love
know
dessert.
there are people on the Titanic that didn't know what was going to happen that night and didn't have dessert at dinner. Can you
Oh, what a that's see,
That's a shame.
that's why you should always have dessert.
Exactly.
You never know
You
what
never
tomorrow
know
brings.
What's going to happen?
My brother actually used to tell me every morning after breakfast, let's have breakfast dessert.
What?
Breakfast
Are you
dessert.
sure he was talking about the same thing?
Yeah, well, literally, breakfast is pancakes and waffles or whatever. But then after pancakes and waffles, he wants cake.
We sometimes have like dessert for breakfast. Like we have donuts.
All the time. We have a donut place downstairs.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
See?
it's
So yeah, we just love our desserts. And so welcome.
Yes.
Well, this your first time in the Philippines?
No, I was actually here 10 years ago. So a lot's
Wow.
changed. Here 10 years ago, and I've been here for a week. And
Okay.
I was filming with your dear friend here
Yes.
earlier in the week. And we've just been, basically, we're making World of Wonder,
Yes.
Quest World of Wonder. And people always sort of say, when I said I'm doing it on Manila, they said, oh, why aren't you going to the islands, the beautiful islands?
Right.
I
The
asked this
islands.
question.
You asked the question. And I said, because one island looks very much like another after a while.
Yeah.
And Manila is much underrated. There are some wonderful things happening here. So we wanted to actually show what's happening in Manila, be here and enjoy the magnificence of it. And it is, it's great.
Well, thank you for coming with us to the Masungi Geo Reserve.
What a doubt. By the way, I don't know about you, but I'm still scratching. I have been eaten alive by every you can possibly think of.
Mosquitoes. Oh, you got to watch for that.
I
There's
think-
a dengue outbreak now.
What? Oh, you know, great. I was feeling really good this morning. Now I've walked in here, I realise I'm a porker because I love dessert. I'm at risk of dengue. What else can you do between now and
No, yeah,
Hey, that's the morning show. We roast each other to.
you know, you
Filth.
have to forgive our bugs, our local bugs, because you were probably a delicacy when you visited. And they're like, oh look, foreign food.
watching?
Oh look, apple
Foreign food.
crumble.
They can taste.
I tell you, I've got. It's just, but anyway, there we go. It's all good.
Actually, my problem was my sunburn. I got a sunburn from our walk
That's
around.
great.
Did you get one too?
Yeah, I've got a farmer's tan just there.
Yeah. It's literally a sandotan. I
But
got
but
one.
it's so fascinating that it's like you're living in two different worlds, because we know you pretty much as the business guy, and then you also have like a travel
It's the
thing going
perfect-
on.
It's the perfect combination because it allows me, for example, today,
Mhm.
after I've been with you having great fun, I will be going to meet the finance secretary, where we'll be
Wow.
interviewing on a variety of issues concerning the economy. And that's for Quest Means Business.
Exactly.
Quest Means Business, which tomorrow morning comes live from Manila. So that's 5 a.m. Looking at my producer, 5 a.m. Manila time, Tuesday morning, which will be 4 p.m. Monday night, New York time. So, and then I get to do all sorts. It's the best of both worlds.
How do you choose? I mean, you know what? Even as regular travelers,
Yeah.
like it's so with all the things that we consume from from the internet, like, oh, I want to go here, I want to go there, and there are just so many places in the world
Sure.
to discover. How do you pick?
Good question. You pick, you try,
Yeah.
and I say try because I fail to pick going to a particular place
Yes.
at the right time of the year. So I
That's true.
failed with Melbourne, Australia, and went in the middle of winter. We put off going to Sydney for the same reason. You try to go to the south of France in the summer. You try to go to a ski resort in winter. Sometimes you just can't help it.
Yeah.
We were in Mauritius during the rainy season.
Right.
You just have to do it. And you look at the map and you see where it's interesting to go. And the whole goal of World of Wonder is what are the experiences you can do there that are unique.
Oh.
So we did the boodle fight here. We went to the park.
That was fun.
You'll never find me bungee jumping. Why not? A, because it's bloody dangerous. And I ain't about to go and do that. And B, because you can do that anywhere.
Oh, that's true.
That is true.
You can do that anywhere.
That's the same concept about beaches you were saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's why you
once
came and checked
put
out
the drone
Manila.
up, I'm going to get such whatever it is from people will be texting me saying Philippine bays are better than anywhere. Philippine beaches are better. But it's true. Once you put the drone up, one bay looks pretty much like another. One beach looks like another.
That is true.
You know, it's funny that you should bring up a boodle fight. How was the experience, being British, eating with your hands?
Goodbye.
Because I can imagine.
You mean the pick, press, push?
Yes.
Yeah. It was quite good fun. I was just amazed. So the people we were with were so wonderful. But I was amazed at the way some of the younger members of the group, decided to move further down the table.
Okay.
As they'd eaten their bit.
Yes.
They then moved. And suddenly they started at one end and they were at the other. I was fun. It was great fun.
And there are no barriers.
There are no barriers.
So your food is my food.
Yeah, which, of course, you do wonder, have you washed your hands? But there we go. It was good fun. It was amazing fun. And I'm still here to tell the tale. I think it's a really refreshing way of eating. Will I try it at home? Come over and have a look and see.
Oh. And I also saw that he went and joined the videoke.
Oh.
He sang along with how Filipinos love karaoke,
Exactly.
right? Oh,
Her
how was
name
that?
was Lola. She was a showgirl with feathers down to here. And she would merengue.
So that is your go-to song?
Well, it was one of them. The other one was YMCA, but it was all getting a little too much by then.
Everyone will be singing along. If
YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
So is that a thing?
You look horrified. You were looking and thinking to yourself, why did we let him in? We could have had somebody decent.
Okay, so is that a thing during your travels? Because that's a lot of people use that as their content. Like the food, right? So
No,
it's
the experience. It's all about what is the experience. What is the experience that is going to tell me something about the place? That's the core part of it. So, for example, your dear friend here and his Mr. Universe.
Yes.
We are doing pageants.
Okay.
Now, the rest of the world has pageants, but they are uniquely popular here in the Philippines.
Yes.
Very.
So yesterday I was learning how to be a pageant king because it's uniquely an experience here.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. What is for you, even outside of your show?
Yeah.
You have traveled all over the world.
Mhm.
What for you is the most fascinating destination?
That's
a tough question.
Yeah, I noticed you went for fascinating and not my favorite.
Not your favorite. It's like you can't believe something like that exists in this world.
Oh, that's important. That really is. Because that
At least from your point of view.
Yeah, I mean it's all sorts of
Because you've seen everything.
All right. So it can be the safari park where you see animals in their natural habitat,
Right.
shredding each other. Or just because that's nature in its rawest
Rawest
form.
form.
It can be watching off Bondi Beach, people surfing because they are at the best of what they do. So for instance, Rovaniemi in northern Finland, where they have the northern lights and where Santa Claus comes from.
Right.
You go and see that and you go sledging. That's why I say the experience is one. My favorite phrase,
Okay.
cabin crew, doors to automatic. Why? Because it means the journey, the adventure is about to begin.
Oh, fantastic.
Cabin crew, doors to automatic. Cross-check. Verify straps.
So,
Okay, wait, sorry. One question
Go on.
about you're saying you didn't like bungee jumping is something that you probably wouldn't do on the show, but in terms of scariest experience on your trip, what would you say? Like, oh my gosh, my life is at risk here. Have you ever had an experience like that? I mean,
well, you mitigate the risk, but have I done things where there is inherent risk that is out of the norm? Yes, of course. Jumping out of a hot air balloon over Austria with the Red Bull jumping team. Now, look, they are the most professional in the world. But by the way, have you ever parachuted out of a plane?
Oh,
I have not, but I'd
no.
love to.
Right. So
Him, no.
So,
Me,
uh,
yes,
for those
I'd love
watching-
to.
For those watching on Facebook, you'll be. I'll try and give a visual demonstration or an audio. So on a plane, you shimmy along the door and then you jump out. But on a hot air balloon, there's no door.
there's no door.
So what you do is you shimmy over the edge. You then sit on the edge. You're tied, of course, to the
Oh,
tandem jump
goodness
master.
gracious.
And then suddenly you go 3, 2, and you go, whoa, and straight over. I mean, I nearly lost it. It
Oh.
was nearly change underwear time.
He has a fear of heights.
I have a fear of heights.
So
That's why they made me do it. That was exactly, it was Quest for Fears. And they made me jump out of a hot air balloon. I then did an F-16 fighter jet. And
Where you could pass out, right? With all
I
the
nearly did.
G's.
All right, there is video available. Okay, so once your inner ear goes, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
And so I decided, and I was feeling nauseous, so I decided sorry, by the way, if you're enjoying your breakfast at this moment. I decided the only thing to do was finger, mouth, try to whatever.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Nothing. My body was so traumatized.
in shock.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, so since
Yeah.
you do this for your work as well, and
Yeah.
also as a journalist,
Yeah.
you do this as part of your work. Where would you go for you, like off work? I mean, with all the traveling that you've been doing,
Yeah.
if Richard
I go
wants to go somewhere, or at least on your downtime, where would you go?
four places. We have a place on there's a resort. We have a place off New York on Far Island, which
Okay.
is just wonderful to go and spend time there.
Yeah.
I love going to Sydney.
Mm.
And look at the
Yeah, I
it's
love
just
Sydney.
a wonderful place to go
Yes.
to Sydney. And I'm afraid I'm rather boring in a sense. South of France.
Oh,
Oh.
can.
No, I can. I really can.
You really can? I really can't.
Yeah, j'adore South of France.
Mm.
C'est
Je
trop belle.
parle français.
Oh oui, moi aussi.
Oui, oui.
Un très petit.
Damn, I can't fake it.
Listen, Chico has all of these languages
All these
that he
languages.
can speak.
Yo spoqueño español.
No.
Sí,
No.
sí. Mucho español.
Mucho.
Sí.
This is going to get very quickly. It'll either get very difficult or highly offensive.
It's
One or the other. And there's very little middle ground between the two. So I urge you, if you are joining us this morning, to prepare for whatever comes your way.
Everyone's like, laugh.
You're late for work, by the way. If you've been listening all the time, that's the only one. People are laughing.
Yeah,
By the
yeah.
way, if you've got a question you want to ask me, I don't know where they send it to. I will answer all and every or any question.
Oh my. Okay. So there you go. We can read
Okay.
some questions.
Well,
So
John
my-
Paulo
Would you like
Valdez.
to just give oxygen to my producer. She's just having a funny turn.
John Paulo Valdez has a question. I want to ask Richard.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whose top CNN anchor correspondent would he like to join him on a travel escapade?
Oh.
Oh, that's easy. That is easy. Wolf Blitzer.
Oh.
Wolf
Ooh.
Blitzer, because he's got a love of life that is absolutely second to none. Total,
Contagious.
thorough, wonderful gentleman. Wolf Blitzer. He's the one who would really get stuck in. Absolutely.
Wow.
No question. Dear old Wolf.
Well, this is just a comment, but Butter Baby, one of our favorite rushers, says, oh, all of them are our favorite rushers, but Butter Baby is the one who facilitates a lot of our meetups, says
Pardon?
he's so fun, very, very different from his CNN persona.
That usually means I'm normally boring and turgid. and they're realizing I'm an actual human being that lives and breathes. But don't worry about it. Joe, I think some of my producers in New York, because I'm always wearing a suit,
Yes.
they think that I must go home and sit down and watch television in a suit. So whenever they see me in a T-shirt in the office, it's as if I'm naked. They look in horror.
And they're like, "Are you okay, Richard?"
Yeah, absolutely. I'm okay. I'm feeling well. No, it's fun. I was just thinking, actually, Christiane Amanpour would be good to go with, wouldn't she?
Oh.
I mean, she'd get the table at the restaurant.
You know, it's so curious for me to find out how you guys, because on TV,
Yeah.
I mean, well, especially like Christian and Wolf, they're very journalists. But
Careful here.
I would
We're
like
heading
to.
towards some very thin ice.
I would like to know how, like, the goofier side of these very formal
They have
journalists.
exactly the same.
And how, but we never see it.
Well, nor should you.
But we want to. Like,
Well-
how do you are? Well, like after a couple of drinks, what do you do for fun? How are you when you're in your goofy mood? Like, do you
Yeah.
tease each other?
Yes.
Do you like
Yes.
that?
Oh, for
That would be
sure.
fun.
Absolutely.
That would be
you know,
amazing.
I mean, we are unfortunately dealing with very serious stuff most of the time, and therefore, but no, of course, everybody we're not all sort of po-faced. Well, no.
No, but like when you hang out outside of like your jobs, do you still talk shop? Do you still
Yes.
talk about like what's happening in the world, or do you talk about
We
like
dish
the most
we
ridiculous
dish
stuff?
management.
Oh,
That's basically what we do. If you get any group of CNNers in any group for any length of time, before long, it will be ganging up on management. But that is the same everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
for
true.
sure.
I worked at the BBC for 15 years. But here, if you two are out for drinks, oh, what do you know what you do? And then when those expenses were rejected, can you believe it? I'll tell them.
We don't even have to be drinking in the morning. One more question from Mary Elaine. If you could visit any other place in the Philippines, where do you want to go?
Look, who sent that?
Elaine.
Elaine, let me tell you this little secret, Elaine. I have made an entire career. I have kept the shirt on my back by avoiding questions like that. Because there is no merit in answering it and defending the rest of the country.
Right.
So I will simply say the place I would like to visit in the Philippines is the next place I visit.
Oh, there you go.
Why? Who's going to invite me somewhere? Come on.
Yes, a lot of people for sure would love to.
You know,
invite-
I think the world of pageantry has rubbed off on you. You know how to answer these questions now, like
in a very
in a
passionate,
very like yeah,
eloquent way.
without offending anyone,
Say nothing.
right?
Hey, Coco Hernandez says, out of all of the people you've interviewed, who has left one of the most indelible marks
What, when they
and life
slapped me?
lessons
Sorry?
among all the people you have encountered?
Oh, that's easy. That is easy. That was of all the people one's interviewed, the one that really strikes me the most was Patrick Swayze from Dirty.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah. First of all, I didn't realize who he was. I mean, no, I knew I was going to interview him, but I'm standing outside where we were doing the interview, and I'm smoking a cigarette. And this guy comes up to me, and he's also smoking a cigarette. This is in the days when I smoked. And I didn't say anything rude, but I thought, who is this guy? Weirdo. And then 10 minutes later, I'm sitting opposite him, and it's Patrick Swayze. He just looked different. But it's the passion that these people bring when you're talking to them. You say to him, what happens inside Patrick Swayze when the music starts? And he says, it's like life starts.
Oh, wow.
I said to Hugh Hefner, who started Playboy.
Oh, what's that?
Right? I mean, I'll just set the calendar down in the studio. Same, it's from 1994. And I said to him, what happens when a beautiful woman walks in the room? He said, it's as if time stands still.
Wow.
And what I realized was that these are people, and this is what makes a good interview. It's when people have thought about something deeply and carefully, and you realize you're getting what it really means. The truly great people. And that's why, for instance, I've done a lot of interviews of lasting 5 minutes, the junket interview, where you get 5 minutes with them. I won't do them anymore. I just won't do them. It's not worth it.
Right.
I can't ask a question that I want to. They can't give the answers they want to. Why bother? You've got to. Funny enough, Hefner said to me with Playboy, he said, we won't interview anybody unless they guarantee us 3 hours.
Wow.
Now, if you think about it, you've been doing this a while. It's only after an hour or two that you've worn the person down and they feel like they're a friend. So the barriers go, correct?
Right.
That's
Which
true.
is the antithesis of the 5-minute junket social media interview that everybody does now.
Because everything is just so like 3 minutes these days, or much less. Even the songs are getting shorter and shorter.
Policemen are looking younger.
Butter Baby is actually asking on our text line. So if you want to send in your questions in the text line, 0961 1367 931, Do you still have a dream interview or feature that
Oh,
you
yes.
would love? Oh, for sure,
Oh,
a lot.
absolutely.
Name them.
Oh, absolutely. Dream interview. I'm not sure why, but I think it's because I think they'll be extremely interesting. Tom Cruise.
Oh,
Tom
okay.
Cruise. I just think, that, having seen what he did during the pandemic, during COVID, I think it will be absolutely fascinating to interview Tom Cruise because of just of his wide repertoire. It's the people you want to interview. Really want to interview.
Yes.
And not the most famous names. They're the ones who've got something about them. They've got something to say. They've got a purpose. They've got a design, a desire. They are the ones you really want to interview. I mean, I remember interviewing Mick Jagger, and you suddenly realize he had something to say. Yeah, these are the people who you want to get, not just somebody because they're famous.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
So how do you fare? Like, for example, in this scenario, you are such an interviewer. How does it feel to be the interviewee?
Oh, not a bit like a sort of a bug under a microscope.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to do what I tell other people not to do. I always say to people in an interview, answer the question you've been asked,
Yes.
not the question you think you've been asked. Because I can say to somebody in an interview, today's Monday. And they'll be thinking, he's asking me what day. He's asking me, do I really think it's Monday? He's asking me, am I happy it's Monday? He's asking me, what's the purpose of my life? No, I'm asking, is today Monday? So when you ask me any question,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what are they really asking? They're wanting to know about my sex life. They're wanting to know about what food I like. They're wanting to know what they really want to know. No, they're not asking me, is it Monday? They really want to
Just answer the question.
Just answer the
answer
question.
the question you've been asked. Don't look for some hidden meaning.
So what happens when you're interviewing somebody? Like, have you ever encountered a personality that you just couldn't
Yes,
get them out of their
many
shell?
times. Many times you can't get them off their talking points. Politicians particularly, you can't get them off their talking points, and you can't get them to be real.
What do you do?
Depends on the purpose of the interview. Depends on the purpose. What one can always do is just simply look at them straight in the eye, Markki. Look them straight in the eye, and you say, why are you finding it so difficult to answer this question? And they will invariably answer, I'm not.
I am answering your question.
Well, with respect, you're not. You're sort of dancing around it. You're not actually answering the question because you know you can't really answer the question in the way it needs to be asked.
So it kind of strikes fear in them a little bit.
We were talking about this off air earlier
Go on.
because when Richard first entered the booth, he was like saying, "Oh, I love radio," and you started on radio.
Oh, of course I did.
So,
This is the most intimate of medium, if you think about it, because you have a very direct connection straight to the listener, the dear listener.
Mm-hmm.
There is a listener. I'm glad we found you. We knew there had to be one. And you have a deep connection. They are doing all sorts. Well, you're doing all sorts of things at this moment, at a most intimate moment of the day. Some of you are washing, some of you are dressing, some of you are having breakfast, some of you have just dropped your breakfast, some of you are driving, some of you are wishing you were driving, whatever.
Yeah.
This is the moment of the day when you can connect. Simple as that.
So, we've had, being from radio, there's always this talk about how everything's moving into video, even for example, when Instagram was new, it was all about just static photos. But then now everything is about the video.
Short form video.
Radio is quite a dinosaur in terms of industries because it's all about the audio. You don't have a visual to it. And nowadays everything is video. What's your take on that? Like, what would be the value of just hearing somebody talk as opposed to seeing them visually as well?
Because you can concentrate in a different dimension. If you're looking at something, you are distracted by the sight, the sound, or whatever. But if you're listening to the radio, I listen to the radio every morning when I'm getting ready. I want to concentrate on what's being said. I tend to listen more to news radio than to that. People, and the other thing to remember about radio is it's not the music per se. The music's fine, but everybody's playing the same music. not everybody has Chico and Markki.
Oh, that's true.
That is true.
Hey,
People are listening to you guys and your co-hosting. Yeah, well, there we are. Yes, enough said. People are listening to you, and they're listening to you because they want to start the day with you. And they feel they know you, and in a way they do,
Yes.
because they have been on the toilet with you, they've been in the shower with you, they have driven to work with you, and that's an incredibly intimate moment for you. Think about it.
Hey, I really like that. I mean,
What?
well, not that they're in the bathroom while they're listening to us, but I mean that too, I guess. But that I didn't think of it that way. You know,
Somebody says radio's a dinosaur. What nonsense. I'm sorry. I've just got to put this person in their place.
Well, it's still a velociraptor. If it is a
it's a big one.
dinosaur,
It's still alive.
it's still
and
the one
kicking.
that yeah.
And speaking of radio, and
Yes.
I mean, let's talk about music this time.
Yes.
Kath is asking, since you are in a radio station, that focuses on music, can we ask what kind of music you listen to?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that, and I could give you all sorts of posh answers. I could give you politically correct answers.
Yes.
But I'm better than that.
Please
Better than that.
read
I'm
from
gonna
your
go-
actual
I'm
playlist.
going to go to my Spotify playlist and see what just comes up. All right. Let's have a look in my library. All right. So, because I've got to actually switch the thing on. So I've got ABBA, the greatest hits.
Yes.
Quelle surprise. On the treadmill.
Mhm.
What do I listen to on the treadmill?
Yes.
It can either be very fast 16/8 music to the bars. You know, if you just put into Spotify the exact tempo, or a good marching band.
Really? A marching
Think
band.
about it.
Hey, yeah.
Because
Yes.
You see, you can get the beat.
that's true. I think
My Shazams have Firestone, Don't Speak, Beautiful Life, Baby, I Gotta Keep Dancing, Flowers, Fools Rushing. I listen to everything.
Eclectic
Yeah,
eclectic
eclectic.
mix of music.
I think I would want to, if I were on a treadmill, I think I would want to listen to some Gregorian chants. Because I don't think I'll be going very fast.
No, but you see my point. My point is, I sometimes I just want to listen to some classical music.
That's true.
Sometimes I want Beyonce. Sometimes I want old Beatles. I was born in Liverpool. It could be anything at any given moment.
You know what I find so beautiful with the life is it takes you places where you didn't expect to go.
Ooh. Ooh, careful.
Where, I mean, like, what's your kind of looking back at the very young you?
Mhm.
Are you surprised where you ended up? Are you completely surprised that you are where you are now as to your expectations when you were younger?
Am I surprised that I'm in broadcasting? No, I've loved broadcasting since the day, and I've done my Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours. Am I surprised that I have been successful at it? Absolutely. People always said I had a voice like gargling with glass. Am I surprised that I'm still doing it after all the scandals I've been involved with? Totally. I mean, it just shows. But it is a privilege. Don't get me wrong for one second. I never take it for granted. The fact that my mentor once said to me when we were all getting very highfalutin and pompous and feeling that we didn't stink under our armpits or anywhere else come to that. He said to me, never forget, Richard, never forget, you are nothing more than a light in a box in the corner of the room that someone can switch off. And the moment you think that, it puts it all into perspective. I am not curing poverty. I am not doing world peace. I'm just trying to tell people what happened and put it into some sort of context.
Hey, very interesting. And why don't we just bring it back a little bit to what he said, where he's talking about scandals. That's actually our hashtag for today.
Oh, no.
Things I get away with.
Or not, as the case may be.
So I think we are nearing the 10 a.m. mark, but why don't we talk more about everything with the context of our top 10 today.
Okay, so Richard, I'll try to, because a lot of our entries also are infused with Filipino. So I'll try to translate as we go along. Join us for the final batch of the top 10. And,
We would
join
love
in.
to have you.
Yeah, join in at any point. Okay, so thanking Mike Ferrer for the topic, things I get away with. Let's start off with CN. True story, not me, but my fur baby, Ashton. Gagamitan ako ng cuteness overload niya para di ko siya pagalitan if meron siyang kapalpakan na nagawa. Successful naman siya lagi. So he's talking about his cat, Ashton, and he gets away with bad behavior just because he's so cute. So, do you have a pet? You
No.
travel a lot, because I don't know how that would work.
No. My husband and I know we don't have a pet.
No.
We want a nice big dog, but not just yet. But
Yeah.
we will have one.
Because it's so I can't imagine. We left for Taiwan to play Pokemon just over the weekend, and it was torture
He left his
to not
cat.
see them. I have cats and dogs.
Oh, dog's good. I'm not
Both.
I'm
have
about to lose half the audience here. I'm not a cat person.
Yeah. No, but I understand. I was never a cat person until I got one,
No.
and now we have like 4 dogs and 5 cats.
His babies.
My babies.
Their babies.
And from Al Macchiato, things I get away with when a homeless person here in the UK asks me for money, I just say, I know poverty. I've seen poverty. That idiot, mate.
Well, I'm not sure I'd be terribly proud of that response, but it does mean it does sort of work.
Well, first of all, we actually have listeners from all over the world.
All
who are
over the world.
Filipinos who listen
Yeah.
in. And Al Macchiato is actually from the Philippines, and she is now
Works
an
in the U- no,
OFW,
yeah, she lives there.
overseas Filipino
Right.
worker in the UK.
The UK.
So she's actually seen poverty, and here in the Philippines is pure poverty.
And Maxim De Winter says, things I get away with, since very, very few foreigners actually watch Korean musicals that I watch all the time, they kind of give me a free pass when I ask the artists for requests because, quote, I don't know the rules.
Ah.
So, yeah, like usually they're very polite with their idols in Korea, but because she's a foreigner, they let her get away with things.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever had the opportunity of responding to someone in, for example, a foreign language? They ask you a question, for example, in German, and you just speak in English because you can't speak German, or French because you actually speak French, and you got away with murder or whatever.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Oh, yeah, but I tend to follow the old British Foreign Office view.
Okay, which is?
Speak slowly and shout, and they'll soon understand.
That's true. Oh, okay. Just a bit connected with this, with idols and stuff.
My cameraman's about to sort of he's having a conniption.
No, because you get to interview a lot of people,
Yeah.
not always because you want to interview them. Sometimes you have
Okay,
to
classic.
interview
I know
them.
we're short of time. Madonna. I didn't want to interview her. I can't know why, but I didn't want to interview her because I thought it was going to be difficult, and it was just I could just see this was going to be an absolute.
Train wreck.
But I said so. I was looking for any excuse not to, and I said to the PR woman, I want to ask Madonna about Kabbalah. This was some years ago when she was very big into Kabbalah. Will she answer any questions? Waiting for her to say, you can't ask that. And I could say, no, I'm not doing. The PR woman just said, Madonna's a big woman. Madonna's a grown-up woman. She'll answer it if she wants to or not if she doesn't. I won't tell you how the interview went, but it was okay.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Chico's a huge fan of Madonna.
I would love to interview her. No, actually,
she's
no.
it's really fierce.
I know. That's what makes me
and
scared.
when you get on the wrong side of it in the interview, it's like the permafrost descending.
So, how were you when you are actually interviewing, if it has ever happened to you, that you were such a fanboy?
Oh, yes.
And what happened? Because sometimes, you know what, it's not always
Oh.
a guarantee that it'll go well. Because sometimes you're so starstruck and you don't know how
Many
to act.
times it's happened.
So, give us an example. Somebody you really, really are a fan of, and you wanted super, for whatever reason, wanted to interview, and how did it go?
Dame Julie Andrews.
No.
And
And
It was everything I had hoped for and more. She was just, look, you've met a lot of famous people, and you know that the truly, truly big stars are gracious with their time. They are delightful with the way they are. They are thankful that you're talking to them, the really big ones. And she was just magnificent. And I just sat there thinking, that's Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins. I was like, I was a gibbering wreck. And she has actually watched some of the stuff because she lives in Switzerland. And it was wonderful. Wonderful. Truly magnificent person to interview.
Oh, from a Sound of Music alumni.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing. Okay, and Genshin Impacto says, things I get away with, hindi lumapit sa akin yung mga nag-aalok ng credit card and condo. Kasi mukha naman akong dugyutin at hampas lupa. Pero, hindi nila alam, I'm actually a millionaire. You know how like some people hawking like credit cards, condos, selling stuff, they'll ignore you if you don't look like you can afford it. Not knowing that some of the richest people in the world are actually the ones who look very inexpensive. They wear like tattered clothes and they actually want to deflect the attention from their wealth and try to appear much, much more humble than what they can actually afford. And that's the mistake a lot of them make. They approach the rich looking people knowing they don't have money in the bank. And that's one question.
No, I'm not telling you how much money I've got.
No. I mean, like when interviewing, because you're also in business, what's it like interviewing the richest people in the world?
Weird when you realize that you're interviewing somebody who can afford anything they want. Plus, they've got their own private plane.
Yeah.
They've got their own whatever. But after a while, you just realize that's their life.
Yeah.
That is their life. They live their life in their ways. It's just, the billionaires, they just live their life differently. They can do things that we can't.
They could just pay $1 million and that.
Look, you see, people always say, would you ever spend 300,000-400,000 on a Bentley or a Rolls Royce? No, of course I wouldn't, because that would be most of the wealth gone.
Yeah.
But if you're worth tens of millions, then that's not even an issue, because it's just rounding error of your wealth.
It's a penny.
Just a penny? Yeah, absolutely.
But like, do they behave a certain way? Because
depends if they're nouveau. Depends if
They're
they're
the
old,
nouveau.
Yeah,
that is
old
true.
money.
Old rich.
Depends if they are, it can just depend. It depends if they are children who have been spoiled.
Yeah. Because in your head, you might think they're all difficult to deal with because, just logically having so much money, they don't have to take shiz from anyone and they can just behave the way they want to.
Yeah,
they don't have to please anyone.
They really don't.
Talking about, I interviewed Donald Trump's children once about money.
Yeah.
And they were lovely and they were charming in the interview, and they made it clear that their father had made them work for their money growing up. And then I interviewed Donald Trump himself about money.
Yeah.
This is years ago. And he said, look, Richard, just remember one thing. You eat well at 5 million. You eat well at 1 million. You eat well at 500,000. After those numbers, it's just a numbers game.
Oof. That would be nice
That
to
was before he was
experience.
president.
That would be great to experience.
That would be great to experience. Okay.
Right.
You have been doing this
Careful.
from the
Careful.
You can ask the same question.
you do not have you're preaching to the choir.
I'm 37.
Oh, that's old.
36, 37. I'm working with young'uns.
Okay.
I'm the oldest here.
Here's the thing. You've been doing this for a while. And you've been doing this when people were not very sensitive about things. You've been doing this during the woke era where everything is offensive. And then now it's kind of like there's
Shifted.
this backlash to being woke. And now everything is like kind of like recoiling.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate all of this? Being an interviewer where you have to ask questions. You have to react to what they say.
You just go for it.
Really?
Yes, of course you do. Yes.
So
Yes.
you never experienced holding back a little bit during the woke era and being more careful with what you ask?
No, of course not. No.
Interesting.
No, because you're not setting out to be offensive. So it's just the way you phrase the question.
Okay.
But in the woke era or whatever,
Everything's offensive.
No, you just have to phrase it differently. And if the person chooses to take offence, then so be it. I won't use the language on the radio station, but I remember discussing this with on a variety of issues, whether it be LGBT, whether it would be Black Americans, whether it be all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
And I said, is this word offensive? And one of my colleagues said, no, it's not offensive. This is the phrase that used to be used to describe this group of people.
Yeah.
And I said, so why is it now described as offensive? Because back then it was used as a pejorative. But actually, it was a perfectly decent word.
Right.
And so, no, it's not. I mean, there's all sorts of words.
And it also depends on the country you're in. Like,
Go on.
well, I was telling you about this when we were in Sound of Music.
Let him dig his own.
No, when we were in Sound,
and then jump in it.
when we were in Sound of Music, the kids would be singing do mi so re fa fa la ti ti, and in other countries it would just be a note.
Yeah,
but in the Philippines it's also a note. TT means phallus in the Philippines. So all the kids in the audience would laugh. And so the kids on stage would come backstage and be like, why did they laugh at us singing this song? And because these are kids from New York, from Broadway. And I'd be like, oh, don't worry, it's not your fault. It's just the language. It's true. It's how.
Not just that, even so means boobies.
Yeah. It's very easy. It's very easy to offend.
It is.
But offense is a two-way street. You have to intend to offend, and the person has to be offended. If you don't intend to offend, then the other person should not be offended because there was no intention.
There's no intention.
That was really difficult to understand.
Oh, you know what? That I super agree. It's just that nowadays, you know how people I don't care if you didn't mean to. What's important is that I was.
No,
I was.
We'll get over it. Get over it.
Okay, that's it. That said, do you mean
there's the former British Home Secretary Anne Widdecombe? It's online. You can find it. There's a great speech that she gave to the Oxford Union when she basically said, no one has a right to go through life without being offended. It is the nature of life that you will be offended. Get over it.
Okay, now that you've said get over it, does that mean you don't read comments?
What?
Like read comments? Like let's say you post something or whatever, and then on X,
right? And
then people would.
So in the early days,
how do you deal with it?
In the early days of getting emails, people would write to me and tell me that I was a dreadful piece of blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
I would reply, Dear Mr. Smithers, I am sorry you think I'm the biggest piece of dirt in the world. I don't try to do that. I hope you like my other colleagues, and I'm very grateful that you've written to me. Thank you. Yours sincerely, Richard Quest. They would reply by return because they've been caught out. Most people don't want to be thought of as being rude, and they had been caught out. So they would reply, Dear Mr. Quest, how very kind of you to reply to me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to think you were the biggest piece of dirt in the world. One person wrote back, I still think you're a big piece of, but you're at least a classy piece of.
Oh.
The difference with social media and Twitter or X is that people don't care.
Yeah.
They will just throw the flame.
Yes.
And they will throw the petrol bomb, and they don't care that it's hurtful, and no amount of saying, so I just basically reply and be rude back. There's nothing else, or ignore it. Yeah, of course it hurts. Chico, you could have had 1,000 emails telling you that you are the best thing since sliced bread. And you get one that tells you they wish you weren't here. That's the one you'll remember.
That's the one you'll remember. That's one
that
you'll
is
read,
true.
and that's the one that you respond to.
That's why it's so hard for it's easy to say F them, but sometimes you get affected. So,
Speaking of comments, there's someone in the comment section who's a big fan.
Oh yeah.
And he's they they're also very good friends of Chico.
Yes.
Currently in Palawan, Antonio Montañez. can you give a nice shout out, greet to Ants?
Anton.
Anton.
Yes.
Who's
Yeah.
Anton?
One of our, yeah.
One of our
You're dancing. I have a feeling there's a trap door
No, it's not.
opening
It's
underneath
not a
me.
trap door.
Oh, listen, I didn't survive this long without being able to spot a trap door.
No, because I'm going to ask something off air.
Off, yeah.
Oh,
Later.
Later. Everybody's freaking out.
Okay, so later.
Let's just say it's
Later. And okay, and the top things I get away with.
By the way, we haven't heard what you get away
Later.
Later.
The
Right
top.
after.
After this,
At the
we
very
all
end.
answer.
We all answer.
So Tampupu says, yung bibili ako ng
Sure.
order namin. Ako yung taga-bili ng order namin sa counter. Tapos, kakain ako ng tigi-isang piraso from each of their fries. In the end, kukunin ko yung walang bawas. No one needs to know. So, he will buy the food for everyone.
with. Mm-hmm.
And then on his way back, he will take one piece of French fries from each of their orders and then get the one that was untouched for himself. That's like his tax for buying the food for everyone.
That is not getting away with. That is what you're expected to do.
Exactly.
That is the fee for,
That's herb.
for getting it. Well done, sir or madam.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right? Okay, now we answer.
Go on.
I don't even know how.
Things
say?
I get away with. Okay, I have one. At least on radio. No, even in real life. I think I present myself as a very nice guy.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, but to friends and family, I would like to think I still am a very nice guy. It's just that I have a very naughty streak, which I think a lot of people don't possibly know.
excuse me. This isn't your weekly therapy session. We charge money for that.
But I am a nice guy. It's just that I have a very naughty side that people don't usually are not familiar. But people who listen,
define naughty.
snarky. Define snarky?
Snarky Strom.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. A very biting sense of humor that usually doesn't make it on air. But
No, we normally have our off-air conversations and our on-air conversations, and that's why we couldn't really talk about what we were talking about a while ago on
yeah,
air.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Chico looks at me with this darting glance,
Yeah.
and I know exactly what to do.
Because Markki is a filterless human being. A very filterless human being. Okay, your answer?
My answer. I guess I was fortunate. I made a mistake in my pageant. It was my very first pageant, after all. And for other pageant people who haven't been in the industry for too long, they probably would have never had a career for doing what I did, the mistake I made. But at the end of the day, I guess I got away with it because I don't know. I was very
No, that's not getting on. No. Come on, you're not getting on with it. No, I'm sorry. I wish I brought the Quest Means Business back. Ding. No, that's not getting. That's not what this means. You didn't get away with it. You worked hard. You got it.
okay. Let's
Another
find
one.
something else. Okay, here.
I consider
Okay, I have one.
I consider myself this morning to be the conscience of the listener, holding you to account.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, I
no.
have one. All right. So back in 2021,
Okay.
Yes. Do we want to
I
hear
was in
this?
Dubai and I was
Oh.
walking for Arab Fashion Week.
Okay.
And for Arab Fashion Week, I was asked to walk in 7-inch heels. And at the time, well, I don't know if it's okay now, but cross-dressing in Dubai is illegal. But there were police around. Luckily, it was a private event, so they couldn't do anything. But like, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, how could they do that? How could they have someone walk in heels? But I was kind of scared. I thought I would get put in prison. But I guess I got away with it.
You did.
I did
Wow.
somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You told us that story. That was scary.
that was scary.
That was scary. And Richard?
And Richard.
Well, sorry.
I love how the producer goes, careful. Like, she made sure she was very quiet the entire time, but she couldn't keep it in any longer.
Well, there are several.
I love how he turns his back on her. Well, there are several.
I got away with when traveling.
Okay.
The number of days I can get away with the same pair of underpants, wearing them.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not telling you what day this one is for this role.
Okay.
I think the one though that I get away with most is it's what one of your earlier people said. It's when you are well known.
Yeah.
You can get away with all sorts of things, and you can get away with the best seat in the restaurant. You can get away with the best table, and it's entirely unjustified just because of who you are. And
That's
you know
true.
this. It's entirely unjustified. And sometimes I happily play it up for all it's worth.
Yeah.
And I get away with it. Oh, no, don't give me that wonderful best table in the... No. Just because I'm on time. No, I insist. Oh, if you insist. So I think sometimes using one's fame, celebrity, whatever, just to get that little bit of a better advantage.
Especially if they were the ones who offered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like, you're like,
Yeah.
don't you know who I am?
One of the things
Yeah.
I get away with, I think that's really the main one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and sometimes it happens without you even noticing it.
Right.
But quite often you'll drop a very large hint. Well, it'd be nice to have that seat on the plane, wouldn't it?
And they'll just give it to you.
I don't suppose that suite is available. Oh, imagine my surprise. But by the same token, it works in reverse. Sometimes you expect it and of course you just don't get it.
Yeah. That is true.
That is true. And
My
they
Number
don't give it
days.
to you. Yeah.
Underwear.
So there you go. That's been our show for today. And again, we would love to thank Richard for visiting and joining us on the Morning Rush. Quite an honor for us. And thank you for spending a lot of your time here.
And also thank you to his team. They're all here
thank
today.
you so much, guys.
Let's see. How do we do this? Oh, say hi.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, and it's been great hanging out with Richard.
It is.
And it was such a blast having you here. Thank you for coming
Thank you
and
so
joining
much.
us on the radio. I know you
Thank
guys
you so much.
have been quite busy here in Manila, and so thankful that you came and joined us. May I also ask for the listeners are also asking because there's a film crew. When will this be shown?
The next day? April. Third weekend of April.
Third weekend of April. So everyone
Oh, wow.
tune in to Richard's show.
Exactly.
With-
So any final messages to
Thank
our
you.
listeners?
Just thank you. Just thank
Yeah?
you to you two for inviting me. What an honor it's been for you to have me. No, what an honor it's been for me to be here.
It is true, though.
It's
It
just,
is very
it's
true.
Just, no, look, come on. Guys, you wake up Metro Manila every morning and
Yeah.
you get them moving through that incredible traffic. I don't know how on earth people survive in this city in that traffic. Extraordinary. Terrible.
At 29 years.
What? No.
No, I mean, he's been
He started when he was 7. It's amazing.
He started when he was 7.
No, and so thank you. And to the people we've met and the kindnesses we've received and to the generosity of spirit that we've experienced on behalf of my team, thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you
So that's been our show for today. What a way to start the week,
Oh, it's
the work
fantastic.
week. And we will be back, of course, tomorrow, same time, 6 a.m., as always. And that's it. Thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you
us.
very much for
Bye,
joining us.
guys.
Goodbye,
Thank
Leslie.
you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Oh my gosh, we're so thankful for you to be here. Our next song is Abracadabra by Lady Gaga. Hope you
Nice.
enjoy this. And of course, our Family Feud episode comes out tomorrow. So please check that out. I don't want to have any spoilers.
Thank you.
Enjoy. See
Bye,
you guys.
guys.
Bye.